Hello there. Good evening. Mia Gradney here in the KHOU 11 newsroom, joined by investigative reporter Cheryl Mercedes. You know, we're about an hour and 8 minutes away from the start of the newscast, and Cheryl came in because we wanted to preview a downright disgusting story.
Oh man, I tell you what, I was watching the last recut, Mia, and I was like, I need to stop having dinner and then get back to it, because it's a nasty problem, but it's one you need to see.
And we're talking about wipes. Wipes that you buy at the store that are advertised as flushable wipes for you to use in the restroom, but this really has become a major problem.
Absolutely. And you know, it says flushable, right? And you can see it right there on the package. There's a difference. There are flushable and non-flushable. But what I'm learning here is that there's really not a difference. They don't break down in the system, according to at least two city work crews, Houston and Sugar Land. And this is a problem across the country, but we're taking a closer look at it here locally, because when that stuff backs up, you might not see it until it gets in your front yard or the street, but I mean, by then it's too late, right? Then it's a health hazard.
Yeah. And you talked about taking a close-up look. You got a really up-close look. You went to a water treatment facility to see what those wipes are like as they go through the process, as they go through the sewer process.
Yeah, and it's not just the wipes, but you've got to think a lot of people still put cooking grease down the drain. So what one of the work crews showed me was that cooking grease plus the wipes together, they can form like this icky tube, and everything, it's like a magnet, just sticks to it. Hair, matches, feminine hygiene products, you know, where it says flushable applicator, you shouldn't flush those either.
Yeah, I was looking at my phone because I'm checking your messages to see what you're saying. I'm a little afraid to look at the comments. I'm going to be honest with everyone, so keep it clean. And when we talk about this being a problem, you mentioned that it can back up and you may not realize it until it's curbside. So this becomes a safety hazard and a concern. I think, you know, as people are flushing these wipes down the toilet, what they need to realize is the backup problem that it causes and the cost involved.
And not only the backup to the city street, but it could cause major plumbing problems in your own home. And we're talking thousands of dollars in repairs. And Mia, you might not know this, but the city of Houston will fine you if they determine you are a repeat offender.
And why wipes, Cheryl? What's the difference between a wipe versus toilet tissue? We know when we touch and we hold and we feel it, toilet tissue is softer, it seems like, and it just degrades more easily.
If you've got toilet paper and if you've got a wipe, hold it up, take a tug, and you can just see it right there. It just does not dissolve the same way. In water, it does not break apart the same way. And you know, Kimberly Clark, the maker of Cottonelle, just settled a lawsuit out of the city of Charleston, South Carolina, and one of the proposals in the agreement, which they did agree upon, was to re-engineer their wipes by next May to make them more dissolvable by at least 10%. So they recognize that, hey, these are causing potentially an issue in sewer lines.
So we're not supposed to flush the wipes.
Right.
Whether they say flushable or not.
Correct.
That is the biggest takeaway. Do not flush the wipes.
Yes. Baby wipes especially. Those are apparently built really rugged. Those do not go down the toilet at all. You need to put them all in the trash can.
All of them. All types of wipes should go in the trash, not down the toilet. I think I recall in watching your piece, they said only the 3 P's.
Yes, that's correct. What are they, Mia?
The poo, the pee, and the paper.
The toilet paper, no paper towels. And you know, the city of Houston even told me that 3-ply toilet paper, that can even be an issue. That's how sensitive the system is, and you can burn up the motors, and that's just a huge problem. You don't want that kind of backup in your neighborhood.
No.
You know, if you have children playing in your front yard, that stuff just comes right out of the manhole, and when it mixes with rain and they're out there playing in the puddles, just think about that for a second.
Yeah, and looking at what we're dealing with the weather this week, that's definitely not a potential situation that you want. And
those pump stations are working 24/7 when it rains, especially the weather we're getting this week. This is especially when you need to pay attention to that.
And why so many wipes right now? I thought that perhaps it was because at the height of the pandemic, we had a toilet paper shortage and people were rushing to get their hands on whatever they could. Has the pandemic played a role in more of these wipes going down the toilet?
So at the beginning it did. So I asked the city of Sugar Land and Houston as well, and they said in the beginning they did see a lot of calls, and they said 70% of the clogs they respond to are based on wipes mixed with cooking grease. And they said it did see it level out a little bit a couple of months later, but they did see it spike a bit at first when we had the stay-at-home order, which you know how everyone went after the toilet paper, and I mean, when it's your only other option. But still, they're saying even if wipes are your only option, please do not flush them. Throw them in the garbage can.
Yeah, I had been guilty before of putting them down the toilet, right? Especially when they say flushable. That's what I was flushing down the toilet. So.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I've got to tell you, Mia, I was doing the same thing until a month ago when I started researching this, and now I can't do it. I feel guilty.
Oh no.
After
definitely.
seeing the cost associated and the damage, and then the potential health risks. I mean, and the flooding in the streets that just that alone causes. I mean, don't you want it to work? Those drains in the street, don't you want those to work?
Of course.
And then when you think about the millions of dollars that could go toward infrastructure and improvements, which we all know the city of Houston could use, any city really in America, I mean, it's worth it to just toss it in the garbage can.
It is, because it's quadrupled, I think, their response to these stoppages.
Yes, in Sugar Land alone, let's see, we tripled the calls in just 1 year. You know, and you know, it doesn't matter what the companies say. You know, you can flush, it says it on the box. You know, these city workers are saying, hey guys, we're the ones going down there. We're pulling the things. They showed me in the pump station. They showed me this right here is a wipe. And you know what? We can't tell you if it's flushable or not flushable because they both have the same impact on the system.
Yeah, you can see those wipes coming up in approximately
and everything else.
an hour. I know, it's like TMI, but you'll want to know all about it. You'll want to see more so you can avoid making this mistake. That is coming up in 1 hour at 10 o'clock, a special Investigates report with Cheryl Mercedes. Cheryl, thank you so much for the preview.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. And we'll have more on the web as well, as far as if you have questions on those specific things that you can and cannot flush or put down the drain, you'll find them on khou.com.
We'll see you back here at 10.